Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 11, text number 19. 19 I will read for myself. 20 is also same continuation. 20 will repeat. Suresha Kashma Naino Shivajram Purasthite Vairini Mai Amogham Ma Samsaishtana Gadeveva Vajra Syam Nishpala Kripa Kripanartheva Yachnam. Translation. O King of the demigods, since I, your enemy, am standing before you, why don't you hurl your thunderbolt at me? Although your attack upon me with your club was certainly useless, like a request of money from a miser, the thunderbolt you carry will not be useless. You need have no doubt about this purport. When King Indra threw his club at Vrtrasura, Vrtrasura caught it in his left hand and retaliated by using it to strike the head of the Indra's elephant. Thus, Indra's attack was a disastrous failure. Indeed, Indra's elephant was injured and thrown back 14 yards. Therefore, even though Indra stood with the thunderbolt to hurl against Vrtrasura, he was doubtful, thinking that the thunderbolt might also fail. Vrtrasura, however, being a Vaishnava, assured Indra that the thunderbolt would not fail, for Vrtrasura knew that it had been prepared in accordance with the instruction of Lord Vishnu. Although Indra had doubt because he could not understand that Lord Vishnu's order never fails, Vrtrasura understood Lord Vishnu's purpose. Vrtrasura was eager to be killed by the thunderbolt manufactured according to Lord Vishnu's instruction because he was sure that he would thus return back home, back to Godhead. He was simply waiting for the opportunity of the thunderbolts being released. In effect, therefore Vrtrasura told Indra, if you want to kill me, since I am your enemy, take this opportunity. Kill me, you will gain victory, and I shall go back to Godhead. Your deed will be equally beneficial for both of us. Do it immediately. Text 20 will repeat. Nanesha vajra tava chakra tejasa aridadi che tapasa cha dejitaha Teneva shatrum jai vishnu yantrito Yatori vijaya shri gunastataha. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O Indra, the king of heaven, the thunderbolt you carry to kill me has been empowered by the prowess of Lord Vishnu and the strength of the Diji's austerity. Since you have come here to kill me in accordance with Vishnu's order, there is no doubt that I shall be killed by the release of your thunderbolt. Lord Vishnu has sided with you. Therefore, your victory, opulence, and all good qualities are assured. Purport. Vrtrasura not only assured King Indra that the thunderbolt was invincible, but also encouraged Indra to use it against him as soon as possible. Vrtrasura was eager to die with the stroke of the thunderbolt sent by Lord Vishnu, so that he could immediately return home back to Godhead. By hurling the thunderbolt, Indra would gain victory and enjoy the heavenly planets, remaining in the material world for repeated birth and death. Indra wanted to gain victory over Vrtrasura and thereby become happy, but that would not be at all happiness. The heavenly planets or just below the Brahmaloka, but as stated by the Supreme Lord, Krishna, Abrahma Bona Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita 8.16. Even if one achieves Brahmaloka, he must still fall to the lower planetary system again and again. However, if one goes back to Godhead, he never returns to this material world. By killing Vrtrasura, Indra would not actually gain. Indra would not actually gain. He would remain in the material world. Vrtrasura, however, would go to the spiritual world. Therefore, victory was destined for Vrtrasura, not for Indra. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport, verse 19 translation. O King of the demigod, since I, your enemy, am standing before you, why don't you hurl your thunderbolt at me? Although your attack upon me with your club was suddenly useless, like a request of money for a miser, the thunderbolt you carry will not be useless. You need have no doubt about this. So we have been reading in this chapter the transcendental qualities of Vrtrasura. We'll be reading more and more. So last verse also we saw in the last lecture. Actually, it is in the same continuation of those last verse also. Today's 2 verses and next verse also. So here interesting thing is Vrtrasura is urging Indra to release the thunderbolt. Why? He wanted to die. Actually, nobody wants to die in this world, correct? But here you see Vrtrasura, we'll read more about his qualities. So, he was eagerly waiting. So, if you read both the purport, 3-4 times it is coming. The same idea. Vrtrasura was eager to be killed by thunderbolt manufactured by Lord Vishnu. And in the end, your deed will be equally beneficial for both of us. Do it immediately. So Vrtrasura is telling this. So because in the Vedic times, in the Vedic civilization, they used to prepare for death. Because death is certain, we all know. Prabhupada says, as sure as death. Nobody has escaped death in the past. Now nobody will escape. In the future also, nobody can escape death. Mrityu sarva hara cha aham, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna will Lord will take away everything from us at the time of death. So a person who is in spiritual knowledge, in the Vedic civilization, they were all spiritually well versed with the scriptures, and they were all conducting their life according to the direction of the scriptures. So they were very clear, they are going to die. And here Vrtrasura is urging him, please release the thunderbolt. And it is mentioned, maybe Indra is thinking, because earlier he left that other weapon that became useless. Correct? It is Prabhupada last purport also mentioned, in the summary it is there, today also he is mentioning. Thus Indra's attack was a disastrous failure, because he released what? First what he released? Not club, what is that? I also forgot, not coming. So he released his weapon. Then Indra's attack was disastrous. Indra's elephant was injured and thrown back 14 yards. Therefore, even Indra stood with the thunderbolt to hurl against Vrtrasura. He was doubtful, thinking that the thunderbolt might also fail. So, Indra was not confident actually. Whereas Vrtrasura, a Vaishnava, Prabhupada writes, our being a Vaishnava assured Indra that the thunderbolt would not fail. So, this is the difference between the devotee. Of course, Indra is also a devotee, but they are all having some tinge of material desires, all the devatas. Though he is the head of the demigod, Mahadeva, Indra Deva, but he also has some desire. So So that's why they are in this planet only. Whereas Vrtrasura, he knows very well, this thunderbolt is prepared on the instruction, on the order of Lord Vishnu, so that Vrtrasura will go back to Godhead once he killed by that thunderbolt. So that's why a Vaishnava, a devotee is not afraid. We should not be afraid of death. Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna speaks in the beginning, the second chapter itself. But the moment we are born, we are going to die. One day or another. Maybe we live for 50 years, 100 years. After 100 years, we have to die. So, if you are spiritually situated, if you are following the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, a spiritual person is not afraid of death. But when he is living in the body, we want to execute the devotional service, pleasing the Lord. So he will take care whatever basic required. But ultimately, we have to give up this body. So that's what it is mentioned in this first verse. In effect, therefore, Vrtrasura told Indra, if you want to kill me, since I am your enemy, take this opportunity, kill me. You will gain victory and I shall go back to Godhead. Your deed will be equally beneficial for both of us. Do it immediately. So next verse, in fact it is said in the Ramayana it is mentioned that Prabhupada mentions in the lecture also that Hayishtam tat yat punar janma jayaya. The human form of life is meant for conquering this birth and death. Because if we don't take any solution, if we don't make any preparation, no arrangement if you make, you may die, again you will take birth. Again, birth, death, old age, disease. This goes on in the material world. But a devotee actually who is practicing devotional service, so he is confident that Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, correct? Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha no darshanam. He has a clear perception of these things. Birth is suffering actually. It is elaborately explained in the Bhagavatam in the 3rd canto. Old age, everybody knows, is suffering. Disease, nobody wants to get disease, but you fall sick, it is suffering. Final suffering is death. And once you die, it's not finished. Like this atheist, they think, what is there? You have got the body, nicely enjoy your senses, go on with your sense gratification. Once you are dead, it is gone. No, it is not gone. Tatha dehantara prapti dhira tatran muyati. When we give up this body, we take on to the another body. So what type of body you will get is depending on us. What action we are taking, what karma, what activity we are performing in this life. So that's what is mentioned in the first verse. So in the second verse, again, the translation is, O king of the demigod, second verse, O Indra, king of heaven, the thunderbolt you carry to kill me has been empowered by the prowess of Lord Vishnu and the strength of the Dadichi's austerity. We saw how in the previous chapter also, there's always the fight between Sura and Asura are there, Devatas and the Asuras. So Lord Vishnu directed Lord Indra to go to the Dadichi Muni and ask for his body, and when he sacrificed his body, with his body, this thunderbolt was made. So it is very powerful. These are Lord's empowered by the prowess of Lord Vishnu and strength of Dadichi's austerity. Since you have come here to kill me in accordance with Lord Vishnu's order, there is no doubt that I shall be killed by the release of your thunderbolt. Lord Vishnu has sided with you. Therefore, your victory, opulence, and all good qualities are assured. In this small purport also, Prabhupada writes, Vrtrasura not only assured King Indra that the thunderbolt was invincible, but also encouraged Indra to use it against him as soon as possible. Last purport, Prabhupada writes, do it immediately. Here he is telling, as soon as possible. Vrtrasura was eager to die with a stroke of thunderbolt sent by Lord Vishnu, so that he could immediately return back to Godhead. By hurling the thunderbolt, Indra would gain victory and enjoy the heavenly planet remaining in the material world. Whereas Indra, he wanted to win over Vrtrasura. So he is going to win, but he is going to be in this material world only. So then Prabhupada writes here, Indra wanted to gain victory over Vrtrasura and thereby become happy, but that would not at all be happiness. The heavenly planets are just below. So material world, even if you go up to heavenly planet, there is no happiness. So we should be convinced of this fact. In the heavenly planet, Prabhupada writes here, there is no happiness. So what about this material world? So we should not try to improve our situation, whatever situation we are in, try to make our life comfortable, be happy in this world. That is not the purpose of Lord's creation of this material world. Material world is created for our reformation. We all come, we want to enjoy independent of Lord. We are turned away from Lord. That's why we are coming to this world. But Lord, out of His costless mercy, He has given the Shastra, the Vedic literature, particularly Bhagavad Gita. Again and again, Krishna is inviting us actually, oh, you are suffering in this world, come back to my abode. You will be full of bliss and happiness. So, here we can understand, even if we go up to Brahma Loka, because then Prabhupada immediately quotes, but as stated by the Supreme Lord Krishna, Brahma Bhuna Loka Punaravarti. Even if you go up to the Brahma Loka, which is the topmost planet in this material world, you have to come back here when the good deeds are over. Brahma Bhuna Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupeta Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. But if you come back to me, you'll no more take birth in this material world. Because material world is full of suffering. Krishna also says in the 8th chapter, a verse before that Krishna says, correct? 8.15. Mamupeta punarjanma dukkhalem ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. So, this material world is full of miseries. We can see this. But it looks everything is so nicely arranged. This is actually illusion. This is Maya's role actually. Material energy has been arranged in such a way that people are caught up in this material enjoyment and they forget the higher purpose of life. So that's why the 8th chapter, Krishna says, the translation I just read exact. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they attain the highest perfection. So highest perfection, highest goal, highest success in life is to stop the repetition of birth and death. Nobody knows this. We are all fortunate. Somehow we came in touch with Srila Prabhupada's movement. Even when we start practicing, when we hear all these things, it strikes us. Otherwise, nobody is bothered about that, correct? Death, nobody wants to talk about. You want to talk about all nice things like that. But this is the reality. One day we are going to die. So, material world is full of misery. Everybody has experience of this. So many hospitals are there. So many new hospitals are coming. Anywhere you inquire, beds are full. Actually, people are suffering. You go for a MRI scan or something, there also you have to wait. Everywhere it is like that in the hospital and all. Correct? And apart from this, birth, old age, disease, death, the threefold miseries also Prabhupada speaks of, Shastra speaks of, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik Kleshas. We don't have any control. Nobody has any control about all these things. So, we have come to this world, we have got these scriptures. When we read, when we take up to the process, we can cut short the repetition of birth and death. Similarly, in the 15th chapter also Krishna says, Na tad bhashyato surya, na sashanka na pavaka, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. So tad dham, that Goloko dham, we can all achieve that. There it is not illuminated by sunlight, moonlight, all these things, electricity, fire, it's not there. It's all self-effulgent. The effulgence comes from the Golokodham, and that is what is actually the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual world. We were all part of that world. But somehow, when we misuse our little independence, we are actually thrown to this world, material world. But Krishna, being the Supreme Father, is anxiously waiting when we go back to Him, because we are suffering. Father can understand, son is suffering, so he will make all arrangement. But it is up to son to follow the instruction of the Father. Similarly, we are all sons of God, so we have to follow the instruction of Krishna. So, and if we go to spiritual world, then we are free from all these things. Prabhupada in that purport also writes that all the planets are self-luminous in the spiritual world. Here you see in the morning sun rises, otherwise it is full dark. Tamasi ma jyotirgamaha. Material world is characterized by, it is darkness. That's why we need light. But spiritual world, there is no need of light, electricity. Shining effulgence of all those planets are called Vaikuntha Lokas. The shining effulgence are there. So, Prabhupada writes that we should be captivated by this information. So, Vedic literature gives a clue about this. Because we are not gone there, we don't know. But when we read this, when we understand from the scriptures, when we hear Guru, Sadhu, Shastras, we should be excited. Oh, there is something like that. I can be free from miseries. There is no old age, no disease, no death. Actually, we are all looking for that, correct? Because we are all eternal. But because we are engaged in this body, we are just seeing the opposite. So, Krishna is inviting us. Then Prabhupada writes, by the Krishna consciousness process, we will be detached to material world and we become attached to the service of the Lord. So, that's why you need a process, strong process. So what we are following, this sadhana bhakti, is not an ordinary thing. Otherwise, see, we are all, many of you are so young, how you could easily give up this material attachment. Though now and then it will come, that's okay. But at least we are given up. We are, by reading Srila Prabhupada's book, by associating with devotees, we understood, no, I don't want to pursue this. Because we have been trying this again and again and again. Correct? Many lives we have taken. Same thing. That's why, particularly when you get this human form of life, actually we should be serious. Because otherwise, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna is common in all the things. In human being, also in the animals, in the lower species. So what the great difference? So the difference is that we can actually stop this repetition of birth and death. So, and Prabhupada says, so by Krishna conscious process, we will be detached from that. So our process is not only detaching from the material world or the material activities or material sense gratification, but we should get attached to Krishna and devotional service. So it's not just, because Mayavadis also impersonalists, they also understand Brahman is supreme. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. So Brahman, they also, all matter they want to negate, they want to be totally detached. But there is no positive attachment for them. That's why they again fall down into this material world. So whereas in our case, we have a positive attached, we have a positive process, we are attached to the service of the Supreme Lord. And by doing that, actually, and we express, we want to surrender to the desire of the Lord. Just like here you see Vrtrasura, he knows Lord Vishnu has guided, thunderbolt is made according to the direction of Lord Vishnu. And so he accepted, because it's the will of the Lord. It's the desire of the Lord. So I'll accept it. He is eagerly waiting for that. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, like that, if you see in Bhagavad Gita, in many places actually, Krishna is inviting us. Krishna is telling, please come to me. in the 18th chapter, the famous, all are very familiar verse. Bhaktyama abhijanati yavanyasasmi tattvataha. Tathoman tattvato nyatva vishate tad anantaram. Bhaktya, only by devotional service, you can come to this stage. 18.55. One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. When one in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So we are right now in the kingdom of Maya. So Maya is doing her job. She is doing her thankless job. She is keeping us bound up here. So if we become sincere and serious in practicing the devotional service to serve the Lord, then she has no say actually. She has to release us. That's why Mamevai prapadyante maya metam tarante. Daivi yesha gunamai mama maya duratya. The divine energy of Lord is very difficult to overcome. Krishna himself is saying this. Maya energy, this metal energy, is very difficult to overcome. Then what we are all doing? So by taking to the process of devotional service, Mam evai prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So when we surrender to Krishna, we can easily cross beyond it. So how we surrender to Krishna, we heard in the last lecture also, we have to go through a bona fide spiritual master. So Prabhupada has given all these things. He has given the process, sadhana process, what we have to do, what we have to be careful of, we have to be vigilant, cautious. All these things Prabhupada has given in his writing. So if we follow all these things, follow these instructions, take it seriously, and we should push on actually, we should try our level best. Because we have many material desires, we have taken so many lives, all these things are there in us, correct? So when we practice devotional service also in the early stages, even when you see sometime when we are advanced stage also, Maya is not leave anybody. Till the last breath we have to be very cautious. We should not think, I have done this, I had done today 2 hours reading and chanting 16 round, all this, I am safe. Nobody is safe in this material world. We cannot be safe. We are not sure what is, next moment anything can happen. So we have to be very, very careful, cautious. See, just like same in the case of Parikshit Maharaj also. When he was cursed to die, so he took it actually very as like a blessing in disguise. Whereas in this world, if you see somebody get little indication, they try to do so many things, correct? Because nobody wants to die. But a person who is, just like Prabhupada says, correct? Death is nothing but a final examination. Final examination. And this examination, we don't get notice also. How long we are going to live, nobody knows. So we have to be prepared for that. We should be very careful, cautious. We should practice actually to our best of ability, sincerely try. Krishna will help. Krishna helps. Dadami buddhi yogam tam enama upayantite. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajadam priti pur. So unto those who are constantly, Tesham satata yuktanam, engage in devotional service. Bhajatam priti purum, render devotional service with love. Dadami buddhi yogam tam, I will give the intelligence by which you can come to me. See, there also Krishna says. So if you see Bhagavad Gita, many verses, Krishna is actually inviting us. Prabhupada says, correct? Krishna is canvassing. Just like a salesman goes and sells his product. So Krishna is selling himself to us, but we are caught up in our own world. So these are all very nice instruction. We'll read more about these qualities of Vrtrasura. So how we have taken this in a correct spirit, and that way he is going back home, back to God. These are some of the points. More we'll read later. Vrtrasura Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.